Hello. I wish you always happy with your family. A warning appears just as Tu Tien is about to find out the truth. If you want to know about the child, you must go alone. Jack is forced to stay. And Tu Tien faces the stranger in the dark. Who sent the message? What truth is being hidden? And, is this a trap? Let's follow the story as it unfolds. Night fell faster than usual. Tu Tien sat by the window, still reeling from the rest of the X23 file that was sealed in an old medical cabinet. Jack was going through the photos they had taken at the orphanage, and suddenly stopped. One photo, there was something wrong. Tien, take a good look at this, Jack said, his voice low. In the corner of the photo, behind the long locked medical room door, a figure loomed. There was no mistaking it, someone was there, watching them. At the same time, the wind chimes outside the porch tinkled in the cold wind. Even though the door was closed, Tu Tien felt a chill run down her spine. She remembered the child's eyes that day, both innocent and seemingly carrying a silent plea for help. The next morning, when they returned to the box where they had first encountered the child, a strange object lay there, an old, tattered notebook, torn almost to the last few pages. In it were scrawled words, signed, "Guardian, don't let them find him, or it's all over." That night, in the small room at Jack's house, Jack was still awake. The scattered clues began to piece together into something bigger. The child they found was not just a victim, he was a link in a plan that someone had started long ago. Xian suddenly spoke up, in a low voice. "Jack, have you seen someone following us?" Jack was silent. He had the same feeling. Ever since leaving the orphanage, a strange car had appeared near his house every night, parked far away, and then disappeared without a trace. But he didn't want to make Xian worry. The next morning, they returned to the spot where they had found the child, hoping to find more clues. On the damp grass, still damp with dew, was a neatly folded envelope placed exactly where the box had been. Inside was a handwritten note. "Don't take him to the hospital. Don't trust anyone. I'll show up when the time comes. The Guardian." At the foot of the note was a half-burnt piece of cloth embroidered with the red lotus flower that had appeared in the X23 files. Jack and Xian looked at each other, neither saying anything, but both knew they were no longer the ones searching for answers. They were being led by someone, or some force, that was trying to manipulate their every move. That afternoon, it was raining again, just like 20 years ago. Jack and Xian sat in the small wooden room on the farm. In front of them was an old letter written in brown ink, with no sender's name, no date, but the content made both of them shudder. "If you find the child, don't give it to anyone. Find the keeper of memories, only he or she knows the truth. Otherwise, another child will disappear, like I saw that year." There was a strange symbol in the corner of the letter, a hand-drawn red lotus, with a faded streak of dried blood next to it. Tu Tien blurted out, "The keeper of memories? Someone who used to work at the orphanage? Or is it the woman who disappeared all those years ago?" Jack nodded, pulling out an old photo from his pocket that they had just found in the warehouse behind the orphanage. In the photo was a group of former staff, standing in front of the orphanage gate. In the right corner, there was a young woman holding a baby on her wrist. There was also a tattoo of 3 dots. On the back of the photo was a handwritten line, "July, before it all began." "She could be the baby's mother," Jack said, his eyes heavy. Tu Tien whispered, "And maybe she was the one who sent this letter." The wind suddenly blew. The window flew open. A piece of paper fell from somewhere, landing in Tu Tien's lap. She picked it up. It was another note, scrawled, "If you want to know the truth, go back to the old hospital. But go alone." The sky had just begun to brighten, the mist still covering the hills, when Tu Tien left the farm, leaving a note for Jack. "I have to go this trip myself. If you go with me, they won't show up." The car stopped in front of the rusty iron gate, which used to be Phong An Hospital, a medical facility that was closed in an emergency in 2005 after an incident that was never officially announced. The trees were overgrown, the walls were stained with moss, and the broken glass doors were like silent, watching eyes. No one had dared to enter here for nearly 2 decades. Stepping through the threshold, Tu Tien felt the air thicken. She followed the ground floor corridor, where the old hospital rooms still had their blurred nameplates. Then suddenly, a soft noise echoed from the end of the corridor. A medical cart rolled by itself, even though there was no wind. She tried to stay calm, pulling out a piece of paper from her pocket that said, "Third floor, special file, MTH." The third floor was dark. The windows were tightly closed. The hallway lights flickered and then went out. She used her flashlight to search each room. Finally, she found it, the secret file room. The lock had been cut. Inside was a single file cabinet. On the outside was a line scrawled in red ink. For WHO no only. Tu Tien opened the cabinet. A thick file lay in the middle. The cover already yellowed. MTH, Special Monitoring File, Female Patient. Code X23 changed to high-risk status in July 2005. Before she could turn the first page, a voice rang out behind her, as light as a breath but sending shivers down her spine. "You're here? Finally here." Tu Tien turned around. In front of her was a woman wearing an old hospital gown. Thin, with long, disheveled hair, her eyes gloomy as if she had lived in the darkness for too long. The air around her was cold, as if carrying with it forgotten years. "Are you MTH?" Tu Tien asked, her voice trembling slightly. The woman did not answer immediately. She silently pointed to the end of the hallway, where there was a wooden door with the words, "Room 204 no opening." Tu Tien followed, her palm tightly gripping the X23 file. The door creaked open, revealing a room covered in dust from time. In the middle of the room was a cold iron bed, with children's drawings hanging above it, all of them depicting a little boy and an absent mother. The woman finally spoke, her voice hoarse as if echoing from the abyss. "I gave birth to him here, and they took him away. They said he was sick. They said it was for my safety and his. But they experimented on my child, turning him into something no one would dare to mention." Tu Tien was silent. The file in her hand fell, and she flipped to the last page. X23 real name, Tran Con, son of patient MTH missing on July 18, 2005. Note, not to be searched. Her heart clenched. That name matched the clumsily engraved words on the bottom of the box the day they found the baby. "It's him," Tu Tien whispered, "that child." The woman placed her hand on Tu Tien's shoulder, her eyes downcast. "Where is he now? Have you kept him safe?" Tu Tien nodded, choking. "The day I found the baby, I took him to the medical facility and he was adopted by a couple who had a miscarriage." Outside, Jack was not at ease at home, so he followed Tu Tien and also went to the old hospital area. When Jack saw that Tu Tien was still safe, he felt relieved and took Tu Tien away from this dark place.
Mặt trời. Từ hôm đó trong căn phòng nhỏ ở nông trại, Jack vẫn thao thức những manh mối rời rạc bắt đầu sâu chuỗi thành một điều gì đó lớn hơn. Trời mưa cả đêm, sau mưa vừa dứt, Jack và Từ Kiên quay lại trại trẻ cũ. Với sự cho phép của ông Dũng, họ quyết định lục lọi ở căn phòng từng được dùng làm phòng y tế, nơi ông nói từng lưu trữ hồ sơ của tất cả các em nhỏ sống ở đây. Những tủ hồ sơ phủ bụi dày bầy, bảng tên đã bong chóc ngổn ngang, giấy tờ mục nát theo năm tháng.